If you've ever tried to learn French, you know the feeling, right? You hit that wall, grammatical gender. Why is a table, une table, feminine, but a book, un livre, is masculine? It feels totally random sometimes. Well, you're in the right place because today we are going to crack that code.
And just so you know, what we're about to cover comes straight from the experts at A French Rendez-Vous, one of Canada's top language schools. So think of this as a peek behind the curtain. You're getting an inside look at a system that really, truly works.
So here's what we've got on the agenda. We'll start by welcoming you to the masterclass. Then we'll dig into the why of gender. After that, we'll get into the practical tools for decoding it, see it all in action, and finally, we'll talk about how you can achieve fluency with us.
Okay, let's dive right in. Let's be honest, grammatical gender is a huge hurdle for so many people learning French. It can feel really confusing, kind of arbitrary, but I promise you, by the end of our time together, it's all going to make a lot more sense.
This is really what it all boils down to, right? Why does this even exist? And how are you supposed to remember it all? The thing is, it's not about just memorizing endless lists of words. Nope. It's about understanding the system behind it all. We're going to tackle the why first, so the how becomes way, way easier.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning, with the foundation. Before we can jump into any of the cool tricks or patterns, we've got to get a handle on what grammatical gender even is and why it's so fundamental to the French language.
You know, when you break it down, the basic idea is actually pretty straightforward. In French, every single noun, whether it's a person, a place, an object, an idea, has a gender. It's either masculine or it's feminine. And let's be super clear, this has nothing to do with biological gender. It's just a grammatical category that literally shapes the entire sentence around that noun.
Let's look at an example that makes a lot of sense right away. Words for people. A male actor is an acteur, but a female actor is une actrice. A male writer, un écrivain, becomes a female writer, une écrivaine. You see that? Not only does the noun itself sometimes change, but that little word out front, the article, un or une, changes too. That's the key.
And that brings us to the most important point of all. The reason we even have to worry about gender is this. It is all about agreement. To speak French properly, the little words like a and the and all the adjectives you use have to match the gender of the noun. This is the whole ballgame. It's absolutely non-negotiable if you want to sound natural.
Okay, now for the good stuff, the part you've probably been waiting for. How in the world do you actually know if a word is masculine or feminine without looking it up every single time? Let's open up the toolkit.
So I've got to be real with you for a second. There are no 100% foolproof, works every single time rules. They just don't exist. But, and this is a big but, there are some really powerful patterns and categories that, once you learn them, will get you the right answer the vast majority of the time. It's all about playing the odds in your favor.
And this is the smart way to tackle it. Instead of just randomly trying to memorize a dictionary, you use a structured approach. You start with big categories. For feminine words, you'd learn that things like sciences and academic subjects are usually feminine. Think la chimie for chemistry, or la géographie for geography. For masculine words, you'd learn that days of the week, months, and seasons are masculine. Le lundi, le mars, l'été. Then you move on to common word endings. See a word ending in tion? It's almost always going to be feminine, like la nation. A word ending in age, probably masculine, like le garage. And only then, once you have that solid foundation, do you start tackling the tricky exceptions. See?
Okay, so now that we have the tools, let's see how this all comes together in practice. Because knowing the gender of one word is great, but the real magic is seeing how that one little word affects the entire sentence.
Let's take a really simple example. Une voiture rouge. The word for car, voiture, is feminine, so that means we have to use the feminine article une. And the adjective for red, rouge, also has to agree. It's like a domino effect that starts with the noun. Okay, how about a masculine one? Here we have un livre intéressant. The word for book, livre, is masculine. So what do? We use the masculine article, un, and the adjective, intéressant, stays in its basic masculine form. Simple, right? You're starting to see the pattern. All right, ready to level up? Let's throw plurals into the mix. Here we have des chaussures confortables. The word for shoes, chaussures, is feminine and it's plural. So the article changes to des, and look, the adjective confortable gets an S on the end to match. And one last one, let's do masculine plural. We've got des ordinateurs modernes.
Ordinateurs, or computers, is masculine plural. So again, we use the article des, and the adjective moderns gets that s to agree with the plural noun.
And really, that's the heart of it. Getting the hang of this agreement system is a massive leap forward. It's what separates someone who just knows a few French words from someone who actually understands how the language is built.
You know, what we've just gone through together, it's really just a little taste of the teaching philosophy at a French Rendezvous. It's all about breaking down these big, intimidating topics into clear, structured steps that actually get you results.
And that teaching style is just one part of a much bigger picture, a complete learning ecosystem. Students get personalized courses with certified professors. They get 24/7 access to an interactive platform with all the exercises and lessons they need. They get a whole suite of learning tools from flashcards to audio supports. It's a full academic framework, all designed for your success.
So I guess it all comes down to this one question for you. Are you ready to stop all that guesswork and that feeling of frustration, and instead start speaking French with real confidence? The kind of confidence that comes from actually knowing what you're doing.
Well, if that answer is yes, then your journey to fluency is ready when you are. I really encourage you to visit FrenchRendezvous.ca to see how a structured, expert-led approach can make all the difference in achieving your language goals. Thanks so much for joining me today.